Hello there folks, this is another revision video for business management. This time we're going to consider a very common topic, especially for National 5 and Intermediate, which is the entrepreneur. And we're commonly asked about what an entrepreneur is, or what the role or job of an entrepreneur actually is. And if I ask you to consider the image of many of the famous business people, both men and women, we come across, many TV personalities or people from the business section of newspaper will pop into your head. And correctly, they are all entrepreneurs. An entrepreneur has to begin by taking an idea, and then they actually have to do something with that idea, which is the most important part. They don't just sit back with an idea and think, oh, that's lovely to have that in my head. They have to actually go out into the business world and make that idea happen by making it a reality. Now that's a very simple thought about what an entrepreneur is, but really if we think of this in assessment or exam conditions, you really have to be able to give a detailed answer. You need to think of a few different jobs or responsibilities for an entrepreneur. A second responsibility we could consider would be an entrepreneur bringing together the 4 factors of production. We know, of course, that an entrepreneur must be able to source some cash or finance for their business idea, perhaps through their own savings or through a bank loan. But cash isn't enough. They have to have all 4 factors. They need to have the land, that's the natural resources for their business. They need to have the capital we've spoken about. They need to have some labour, some workers, a workforce ready, and of course the enterprise aspect, that is the business idea. So they must combine the factors of production. That's another role. A third role could also be that we have to consider entrepreneurs usually as being financial risk takers. They take risks, they take jumps, they take leaps of faith, and they invest their own cash and often other people's investments, and they have to hope the idea will be successful. As we know, not every business idea out there will be a success, and we know that especially small businesses often struggle in their first few years. So entrepreneurs are financial risk takers. We also can consider the idea that an entrepreneur will spot a gap in the market. They'll find a niche that another entrepreneur has not as yet explored. Now that doesn't mean that they have to have a totally new or unique idea, but perhaps it was just a spin on another idea, a different angle, a different way of attracting a new target market or a market segment towards a slightly altered product. Indeed, we could think about Starbucks. Starbucks has spotted the gap or niche in the UK market that we weren't having our fast coffee, the takeaway coffee aspect in coffee shops. There are many entrepreneurs you might have came across in your studying or that we've spoken about already. We have some of our Scottish entrepreneurs such as Michelle Mone and Duncan Bannatyne. We have some British entrepreneurs, Sir Richard Branson, Victoria Beckham, and of course we have our wider global entrepreneurs. We could think of the late Steve Jobs from Apple, or perhaps we could think about Walt Disney,